Putin. We'll get to him. But did you know that Minelab is part of a publicly traded company? I've heard people say time and again, if I could buy stock in Minelab, I would. Well, it turns out you can. The only problem is that their parent company is somewhat of a hot mess. And the parent company of Minelab is called Codan.
Codan? What kind of a stupid name is that?
I know, right? I mean, just like Berkshire Hathaway has tons and tons of different companies and brands underneath its umbrella, Codan has several companies, including Minelab, which it purchased in 2008. So this is a 12-year-old article, but look at this first line. Codan used to be a serial disappointer. Ooh, so much so that in 2008, 2009, just about everyone gave up on it, and the scrip, or stock, hit 47 cents. Well, let's zoom to present day and take a look at Codan's stock. Ouch, down 61% over the last year. Could this be why we have an Equinox 700 and 900? Now, those of us who invest have heard of the Motley Fool. Now, let's scroll down. Speaking of earnings risk, one of today's victims is Codan Ltd., the company's best known for its gold metal detectors. Ooh, so we could infer that Minelab is its go-to for earnings. The Codan share price is being taken to the woolshed today after it forecast a significant contraction in first half sales at its dominant Minelab division. Here is what the company said. I'm going to tell you what the company said in a moment, but I just can't get past this. The decision maker of Minelab, the person who said, yeah, let's bring the Equinox forward, guess what his name is? Alf. So what I'm telling you is you have the Minelab Equinox 700 and 900 because of Vladimir Putin and Alf. Does Minelab have a CEO or director? Sure, but he bends the knee to Alf. I want your subscription and a Pulitzer Prize for this, but let's go to the press release. Like many businesses, we are operating under challenging market conditions with geopolitical issues, a high inflationary environment, and an increasing risk of global recession. The risk of declining sentiment may impact sales in the short term, and management continues to monitor this risk closely. The company expects sales for Minelab to be in the region of 75 to 80 million in the first half of fiscal year 23 compared to 138 million in the prior corresponding period. The reduction primarily relates to the disrupted nature of the African market, normalization of sales as we transition to living with COVID. And down here it says Codan joins a long line of COVID beneficiaries. Government stimulus in some African countries was seemingly spent on buying gold detectors, turned post-COVID flops.
Why would you do that? Tradition!
You heard it from the man. They did it because of tradition. So after record years during the pandemic, we have already seen guidance slashed almost in half for Codan, and shareholders don't want to hear that. Sell, sell, sell! Codan says it is on track for another record profit this financial year, despite ceasing sales of its metal detectors into Russia. Russia is one of the biggest markets in the world for metal detectors. But you might have heard there's a war and an occupation going on. Vladimir Putin and Alf brought us the new Equinoxes.
I am the sunshine of your life.
And while that might be true to a lot of metal detector users in the world, that's not the case with Nokta Makro. November 16th, 2022, Minelab sued Nokta Makro Detectors for patent infringement.
The turkey is gone. I can't bring it back.
But that wasn't Minelab's first lawsuit. In 2017, Minelab sued XP. In fairness, I can't claim to be an expert on the legal history of metal detecting companies out there. These are two that I'm aware of. I'm sure there are others that are happening. I'm sure Minelab has gotten sued.
But now we'll never know, will we?
Releasing the Equinox at the same time, essentially, as the Manticore was a head scratcher. Star Wars didn't release its movies, its sequels, at the same time as the original movie. Indiana Jones, all of the great movie franchises, they spread them out. Even in the Netflix era, you get season by season. In technology, do we get like an iPhone 12 and 13 released on the same day? I realize they're framing them as different products, but I have the Manticore coming. It should be here in less than a week from the release of this video, and I can't wait. I'm extremely excited about that.
Every time you say that, it loses a little more impact.
Well, it's the truth, Alf, and in time I will be getting one of the new Equinoxes to see if there is a benefit over the old Equinoxes, and yes, I have both the 600 and 800.
I forgot.
The last video that discussed the Equinoxes got over 500 truly fascinating comments, and a lot of people were perplexed just like me. The question that I have in my mind is, when did this idea come out? I'm really trying to be objective here. Like, if you go back to June, July of 2021, I mean, look at this breakout in the chart, and that's like a year and a half ago now. They were riding high, and in fairness, a lot of stocks have a chart that's similar to that right now. I think after really reading these articles, it's clear that Minelab's #1 business is its gold detectors. But in terms of hobby treasure detectors, the Equinox, that is a well-known name. You know what? Sure, this is a metal detecting video, but let's go balance sheet here. There goes audience retention. Bye. See you later. Like, look at what happened in 2021. You have such a difference in cash between 2020 and 2021. I'm not sure. Maybe there was an acquisition. Maybe there was something else that happened. But in terms of what is worrying me, like, look at this. Look at what's happening with debt. Debt is much more of an issue in 2022 than it was in 2018, years ago. So now that all of this has been presented to you, what do you think? Do you think that this is a product that has been rushed out to make money? Or do you think that this is something that has been in development for years? As always, I look forward to your comments. Thanks for watching.